I was talking with the EOC from Pinellas County. I did some interviews with them recently, and we talked about the fact that 12 people drowned from Helene in Pinellas County from that storm surge, and the overwhelming response from the people who said that they were in a position where they got out and they knew the people who had drowned said these people had no place to go and had no way to get there, and that's just not true.
Welcome back to Stick a Fork in It. Again, we appreciate you watching and following us. We have new guests every Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe because we're going to either teach you something or make you aware. Today, it's making you aware. One of our besties of all time, Denis Phillips, is back on the podcast. Thank you so much.
Good. I want to subscribe. I got to click on YouTube and subscribe.
YouTube,
Right
Feeding
now.
Tampa Bay. I'm going to send you a whole packet so you can share this.
Okay.
So I called you at the beginning of this week, actually, before we started filming this, and we have hurricane season is coming. We are all still quite scarred from a few years ago, right? Unexpected, unprecedented things going on. I've listened to you speak so long. Is it Helene that was hundreds of miles off of the coast and still kicked us pretty badly, where people are still struggling? But I've been on social. You're very active on social. Feeding Tampa Bay is. I am. And you have these folks out there that are doing these very dramatic, angry reds, fire, lightning. Super El Niño is coming. Help us with your divine wisdom. And rule number 7, please help all of us understand where we're at, what you're forecasting, and what we really should be paying attention to. And it's not the people screaming the apocalypse. So go ahead.
I mean, they feed on the fear.
Yes.
I mean, that's what it is. And
It's crazy.
You know, you hear people say, oh, it's for clicks and likes, and some people deny it, some people don't. But it is absolutely because there's a lot of money to be made in social media for content creators.
Yes.
There really is. And they don't care how they get those clicks. I mean, look, flashy headlines are nothing new. News organizations have used flashy headlines forever, but there's a difference from a flashy headline to what I would deem more of a misleading flashy headline. And that's what you're seeing out there. And people scroll through Facebook and scroll through Instagram and TikTok and they see all this stuff, and it pretty much sums it up. You're all going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of
It's
what
coming
they're
again.
saying, right?
I just rebuilt my house, and the potential is Super El Niño is going to take away my brand new home. And help us, because I think it's important.
What happens is people up north watch the Weather Channel. We all have friends and family up north.
Yes.
And so they're watching the Weather Channel, and the Weather Channel is telling people the worst case scenario of what's going to happen in our area. And then locally, sometimes we get it bad like we did with Helene, but the majority of the time we don't. So my take is always, that's where kind of where rule number 7 came from. Look, we all know what the worst case scenario is. Why do we always have to focus on the worst case scenario when the reality of it is usually you have a worst, you have a best. Usually life gives us something in the middle, right? That's kind of what happens. So why does everybody feed on the worst when the reality of it is more often than not it's not going to be that way? And that Super El Nino thing, it's the exact same thing. And let me tell you, I'm scrolling through my feed and I'm getting heart palpitations seeing some of these posts because they are spreading fear. Look, El Nino is a natural occurring thing. It's just when a pool of warm Pacific water congregates in a certain area, and when it does, it has an impact on the weather in our area. In the wintertime, it brings us more rain. In the summertime, it gives us fewer hurricanes overall, all right? So all of Super El Nino, and Super El Nino, whoever coined the expression, it is a thing. So you have what would be considered the average water temperature, right? Mm-hmm. Well, when it goes 2 degrees above average, it is 2 to 3 degrees above average. It is deemed a Super El Nino. I don't know who gave him that name.
2 to 3 degrees?
Above average, yeah.
So
which
a little
doesn't
bit
sound
warmer
like a lot.
backwater.
Yes, but it still is something that's measurable that does have an impact.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard somebody call it a Godzilla El Nino is on the way. Literally, it's gone out of control. The reality of it is, how does it impact our weather? In 2 ways. In the winter, El Ninos bring us a lot of rain more often than not. And that is something that I think this fall and this winter, we're going to see a lot of. I think our drought will be gone.
Okay.
I think really by the end of the fall and into the winter, we are going to get a wet winter and probably a stormy winter with a lot of cold fronts that can bring some pretty strong thunderstorms. We get thunderstorms every day in the summertime, right?
Yeah.
So the odds of it being anything drastic isn't huge. But it also has a real big impact on hurricanes. And this is important. So you're going to hear a lot of people say we're going to have fewer hurricanes because of El Nino. That's a true statement. But that doesn't, when I say we, that doesn't mean the Bay Area. That means in the entire Atlantic Basin, there might be 3 or 4 storms fewer this year than any other year. And that's a good thing. But the impact on our area, there's no numbers that tell us in an El Nino that we are higher or lower risk of being hit. So the reality of it is, yeah, you'll probably see fewer named storms, but does that mean the odds of us being hit are any higher or lower? Probably not. So people need to prepare like they always do, because it only takes one, and it's what we always say. Yeah.
And get ready.
And try not to get freaked out by all the fear mongers out there. And that's a hard thing to do. I remember during Helene, there were TikTok videos out there. People were just refreshing our pages over and over again because we get it. That's where a lot of people are getting their information these days on social media. So my suggestion is you pick a source that you trust and you kind of lock in on that one, as opposed to try to avoid, if you can, the hype areas. And there's a lot of them out there.
There is. It's overwhelming. That's why I was like looking, and I'm sitting there doom scrolling before I go to bed, and there's like 15 different people calling it something. And I'm like, oh, I got to get Dennis on. Because if I'm seeing it, everybody else in our area is seeing it. So trusted source, which, my vote, right?
Oh, thank you.
My vote. So a quick personal questions, and we're going to let you get back to work because you're so busy. You're going into the season, which potentially you're going to have a lot of time on your hands at the station. You already have Denis Phillips Live. You have to keep up with all of your social media. Are you going to be able to take a vacation, my friend?
I actually am. Our family, we do a, so when my first TV job was in Salisbury, Maryland, and that's very close to Ocean City, Maryland.
Okay.
Ocean City, Maryland, it is awesome. It has a great boardwalk, like the biggest boardwalk on the East Coast. People don't realize that. It's huge. It runs miles and miles. And so not every year, but most every year, we do a road trip, take a family road trip up to Ocean City, and we hang out on the beach. And people are like, why the heck would you leave Florida beaches to go to Maryland or Delaware beaches? It is different, and the blue crabs are so amazing.
And the food.
Yeah, I'm a big blue crabs, the Baltimore way to make it, the Maryland way. So we go up there and hang out.
What is the Maryland way? Were you knocking on the? It's on the.
No,
table?
just a ton. Well, yes, but a ton of Old Bay seasonings.
Oh,
Ton of Old Bay. That is the seasoning of choice for folks from Maryland and the Baltimore area. And you're right. You have a big picnic table, and you've got this brown wrapper on, and you just throw the crabs on with a ton of Old Bay seasoning, and it's heaven. It's so good. So that's that for that week. That's what I'm gonna be doing. But outside of that, I kind of like to stay close just in case. Something unexpected kind of pops up, and you got to be able to get back here pretty easily.
Right. And for us, I mean, the season starts in June, ends in November. But there's a little window that probably you can't go anywhere for the most part, is right in the fall.
Yeah,
right?
September and October.
September, October.
Yeah, I mean, we do get early season storms. Matter of fact, the models are already showing some development in early June. Maybe a good bit of rain for us, like the first week in May. And one of the models, the GFS, which always develops hurricanes, we call it the GFS-icane because it is already developing a hurricane for Florida in about 10 days. But it does that all the time, and we ridicule it. But you always have the expression, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. So we worry, is this the time it's going to be right? Probably not, but I do think there could be a little something late May, early June in the Eastern Gulf. Nothing that would give us a huge threat other than maybe some rain, which we need.
We do.
I mean, with the drought.
We really do.
But you're right. Come September and October, historically, that's kind of the time when the Gulf really gets active, and we worry more about a storm coming in from the south and coming into our neck of the woods, like happened with Helene and with Milton and even back in 2004 with Charlie.
Right. So you're leaving for vacation. The season's going to be here. I'll probably call you again if somebody's acting like a weirdo.
Got my number.
I know. And then again, that trusted source, how can people follow you? Where are you most active? Facebook?
Yeah, everywhere pretty much. I mean, I
Everywhere.
update when there's a storm around. I always update on TikTok. I update on Instagram. We do Facebook. We do X/Twitter, and we have our nightly show, Denis Phillips Live. It runs every night, 7:30 to 8, on the spot or on streaming or on all the socials. So yeah, I kind of got it all covered. And by the way, I'm on the news as well from time to time. And
traditional.
That's almost I don't want to say an afterthought at all, but nowadays,
you have to do
let's
it
be
all.
honest. From people get their media from so many sources.
Yeah.
And what we've found is when there's a hurricane coming, they tune in,
Right.
and we can see that over the years we've developed some trust with our team, and when there's a storm coming, the numbers show that people tune into our station and trust us. And I think all of our Mets on staff, Greg D and Jason Adams, who volunteers here.
He does.
Allie
Very
Blake.
quietly does his thing, doesn't want anyone to pay attention. He's just doing his thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
And so we all have a passion for trying to keep people safe. I learned, and we've talked about this before, my job, I used to think, was just getting the weather right. That was kind of what I thought. I'm a weather guy. That's my job. I've learned over the years as I've gotten older, for this area specifically, my job is not just getting the weather right. My job is holding people by the hand and getting them through the stress of a storm without them losing their minds.
Right.
Because that's kind of what happens. When these storms get close, especially the big ones, people start freaking out and they need somebody to say, you know what? Okay, it might be this, or it might be bad, or it might not be so bad, but we're going to get through it.
Yeah.
Because we do. And that's exactly what y'all do here as well.
We do. And we prepare. We've already had our disaster response meeting, our first one with our teams and who's on the lead team and all of that, just in case something happens. The real big story about it is, again, we go back to find somebody that you trust that is going to keep your blood pressure where it needs to be at the right time. Also, just prepare for it. You guys share information. We always share for information on our site, making sure people have what they need. You're prepared. So then you're just ready for it. And then you listen to that person to tell you what you need to do, whether it's evacuating. When you're told to evacuate, please do it. It's the people that stay behind, my gosh, God bless them, especially with a couple of years ago that were really terribly impacted. And it's just listen to your trusted folks. Last thing, and then you got work to do. Rule number 7. Okay, you're known for it. You love it. You have merch. How can people find your merch? If you don't know what Rule 7 is, watch the other times he's been on Stick a Fork in It. Where do they find your merch?
So on my website, on Facebook, rather, right at the top of Facebook, there's a pinned link that shows all the merch, and we benefit the proceeds benefit lots of different charities around the area, and it started back in 2012 when a hurricane was coming this way, and I created these little rules. I jotted down these 7 rules about this one particular storm. It was Isaac, and it kind of turned into something where it works with all the hurricanes.
Yep.
And the ultimate, don't freak out unless I'm freaking out, we're fine, really boils down to preparation. And you hit the nail on the head. I mean, look, you can't be expected to know what to do under the stress of a storm coming 24 hours out unless you already have that planned.
Right.
It just makes it easier if you have a list that you're going to go through this and this and this, as opposed to, did I forget this? Did I forget this? You're running to Home Depot. You're running to Lowe's 24 hours before
and
the storm.
everything's out.
It's gone anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's
Just
why
kind of have staples in the pantry.
Yeah, and
if you can't, Feeding Tampa Bay gives those out.
Yeah, I mean,
we do. We start giving out those packs as we head into June.
And I will say one other thing too. And I was talking with the EOC from Pinellas County. I did some interviews with them recently, and we talked about the fact that 12 people drowned from Helene in Pinellas County from that storm surge, and the overwhelming response from the people who said that they were in a position where they got out and they knew the people who had drowned said these people had no place to go and had no way to get there. And that's just not true. Every single agency is out there 2 days before a storm comes. They will come pick you up. They will find you a place to stay at a shelter.
Yeah.
And I think maybe what happened with Helene is because the storm was over 100 miles offshore, a lot of long-time Floridians, well, if that's 100 miles, there's no way I'm going to have to worry about it. And I get that because we've never had to deal with that before. But the reality of it is, even up until the winds are blowing to tropical storm force, there is help. You can get out. You can be relocated. You don't have to have a car. You don't have to have a place to go. The county will provide that for you, because there's nothing more important than just getting your personal safety. Everything else can be fixed at some point in time, and that's exactly what y'all do. You're there to help when that happens and before that happens.
We do, and then and then even after. And some people, their thing is, what do I do with my pets? People are making accommodations for pets too.
Yep.
Where nobody's asking you to leave your pets at home. So really listen again to your trusted sources, which is your county when they're telling you to evacuate. And if you can't, have a friend, have a plan of to going somewhere. The El Nino thing, one of my cousins called and was all stressed out about it, that lives in Michigan. And if you need to come up, and I'm like, I'm a first responder. I'm not going anywhere,
Right.
but I just don't think it's what's on. So thank you for stopping by today.
My pleasure, as always.
Appreciate you, as always. And thank you guys for, again, watching Stick a Fork in It. Again, subscribe, because Dennis here is becoming a standard to make sure that we have the truth out there. And please follow him. We definitely support him as our trusted source, and you should too. Until next time.